Hi there, I'm Chris Devine, and this is my review of the Death by Audio Fuzz War. Now, to be honest, I picked this pedal up at the NAMM show. It may have been 2019 or 2020. It's been a while. I do remember putting this on my pedal board, and I really dug it. And it eventually did have to come off of my pedal board shortly thereafter because I had to make way for another pedal that I was reviewing post-NAMM, as it often happens. All the new gear comes out, and you get a pedal in a couple weeks after NAMM, and then another one right after that, and they kind of just keep coming and coming. So this one somehow just got lost in the mix. Later on, when my wife and I moved, this got shuffled off into a storage unit. And a few months ago, I saw one of these online, and I said, hey, I have one of these. And since then, I've been using this here a lot at my studio, and I figured I'd do a proper review of it, and I figured it's better late than never. So, but if you like this channel, please hit subscribe, and the bell icon will let you know when I put up a new video. And if you like this video, click the thumbs up button, and if you want to share it, there's also a button for that as well. Anyways, back to the pedal. First off, this is a fairly large enclosure with some fairly large knobs, but it's pretty straightforward fuzz-wise. You have a fuzz, a volume, and a tone control. Death by Audio's website states at lower fuzz settings, the pedal kind of acts as a tone shifter or boost. And as the fuzz knob is turned up, it goes into overdrive, and then into distortion, and then into fuzz. I'll say it's a pretty true statement, especially if this is being run into a tube amp. It definitely comes across that way with my Blues Junior. This has also come across as well on some other tube amps that I've plugged this into as well. But the lower settings of the fuzz won't really, adds a little bit of hiss. There's a little bit of presence of a little bit of noise, and that's really not that surprising considering this is a hard clipping circuit, and that's kind of part and parcel of what it is. But if you have an amp that's just on the edge of breakup, and when you start turning the fuzz up, it starts hitting the front of the amp harder, and at like higher settings, like around like 1 or 2 o'clock on the fuzz, it really gets fuzzy, which is awesome. Running this into a clean amp or even a clean solid state amp, the lower fuzz settings still felt more like a fuzz, a little grainy. There really wasn't like a warm boost like you'd get from other like true overdrive. So it's one of those things that, when you start bringing this back up into the higher fuzz settings, even on a solid state amp, it sits in really nicely, and it comes across as a true gnarly, in your face fuzz and distortion, depending on how you're going for the levels there. It's really great, especially when you start getting into that kind of where sustain and overdrive kind of start paralleling with each other, which is really great. And like I said, on a solid state amp, it may also get a little bit noisy, especially on the lower fuzz settings. If you try to use it like just a little bit of I just want to throw a little bit on there. It's a hard clipping circuit. It's very present, and it's not like I said, like a true like an overdrive or a boost type pedal. The tone control also seems to work a little differently. It feels a little bit more like the filter control on a rat pedal. Just a small adjustment from, let's say, noon to 1 o'clock, and the response is very noticeable. I found with a bridge humbucker guitar, all the controls at noon were a great place to start. And that pretty much worked for 95% of what I usually shoot for and what I really like out of a high gain drive or a fuzz. I'm not really thinking when I get to that kind of sound and I'm right there that I'm needing more of something else or less of something else to really kind of get what I'm searching for. It kind of sits right down the middle, and minor adjustments maybe, but usually that's not needed. I found if you're going to run a pair of humbuckers together at the same time, like you would like on a Les Paul, the middle switch or neck pickup or neck humbucker, neck single coils, I would normally give the tone knob another boost to maybe 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. For bridge single coils like on a Strat or a Tele, I would generally roll the tone knob back to about 11 o'clock just to kind of even out the overall tone to enhance really what the pickups are doing and not kind of have the pedal fight against it as far as that goes. The really cool thing about this large enclosure and the large knobs, if you find the need to adjust the tone control on the fly, you can very easily, if you're smart about where you place this on your pedal board, you could probably get the side of your pedal to actually, adjust the knob while you're playing with the side of your foot. So kind of like an old school expression pedal. So you just have to make sure where this is on your board, you can maybe make a little quick adjustment with the side of your foot and not hit any of your other pedals. That's always the other key thing. This is kind of like a modern take on a Big Muff of sorts. Now, I haven't played through an original Big Muff in a long time, but it does have that kind of flavor. It brought back a lot of memories to that kind of fuzz. But I will say that I found on this pedal, when you started goosing the fuzz past noon, the fuzz didn't really saturate or compress in certain ways. A lot of times if you get a fuzz pedal and you're playing and maybe you have a clean part, or then all of a sudden you go to the fuzz, and the fuzz sometimes just overwhelms everything because there's so much range going on that a lot of times it feels like you have this big volume drop. And there's a lot of players I know that have had like Big Muffs, especially going for that Smashing Pumpkins type sound. You want that fuzz and that sustain and that buzziness and all the characteristics of fuzz, but when you turn it on in comparison to where it sits in the mix, it feels like it's dropping your signal, not really giving you what you want. That's something that does tend to happen in a lot of fuzz pedals. Usually it's just the range. It covers so much low end that you lose that low end presence, especially if you play with another rhythm guitar player or a bass player that's got a fairly overdriven tone. A keyboard player as well too. Sometimes it's hard to find that low end where it really gets that cool low end grind and that grit comes through. If you have something else in the mix, it sometimes gets lost there. Even in the kick drum, sometimes you can get lost in those frequencies. But this really didn't do that. This, as you brought it up, it stayed. You got more sustain. You got more fuzz. It just didn't. You weren't trying to fight and maybe try to think of, if I put the fuzz up really high, I'm going to have to boost after it. No, thankfully, it really didn't need to have anything extra in there going on. So that really made things a lot easier overall. It's quite simple. Like I said, it behaves a little bit more like a distortion than a fuzz, which is really kind of a great way to think about it. So if maybe you want to have a distortion that gets a little nastier, a little grainier, a little more in your face, that is a frequency and a little bit more fuzz, but not getting too saturated or scooped or maybe too square wavy, I guess you would call it. But that's really, it's a hard clipping circuit, but it still kind of has a little bit of granularness that kind of still pokes through, which is great. The graphics are done with a very simple spray paint and masking tape setup. And it's a street price of about $180, which is not that far past a mass-produced fuzz pedal from a major manufacturer. It's not that far outside the realm of those types of pedals price point wise. So you can really, if you really want something that's got that thing, this is kind of that upgrade from a Big Muff, and it's kind of in that area, but you're not going to be paying an extra arm and a leg to get that. So it's really kind of a cool thing. The only downside is this large enclosure could be an issue for players that may have space issues on their pedal boards. It is smaller than a traditional round Fuzz face, the full size one. It might be about the same size, maybe a little smaller than a traditional Big Muff or even one of the many reissues. But the bonus again is the with the large knobs, you could probably use very easily adjust them on the fly with the side of your foot. So it's really not a bad thing to have there. And the other aspect is the adjustable tone control really can help you dial in some stuff that I think the originals might be lacking, or you might be kind of trying to fight. So this kind of works with the Fuzz circuit in a lot more of a modern sense than the traditional sense, where if sometimes it kind of rolls off frequencies. This gives you more of, I think, what you're shooting for, which is really kind of great. I have to tell you right now, this is a little big, but my pedal board is down to about 3 pedals outside of my Boss MS3, and there's plenty of room for this, and I'm really considering putting this on there for a lot of stuff that I've got. So I think this would be something that, even though it is a bit bigger, I think it's worth it, for at least for me at this point. So I'm going to be trying to give this a whirl for the next round of live gigs and other things I have coming up. So it's definitely a plus one for me, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. But I'd love to know with what you guys think. Have you used a Fuzz War? What do you think of it? Is there a different Fuzz that you like better? Have you compared this to one of the Big Muffs? Have you compared it to a Fuzz face? I'd love to know your thoughts, because Fuzzes can sometimes be a bit polarizing, but depending on the player. If you're, maybe you're a Fu Manchu fan, you really love that really fuzzed out desert rock sound, or maybe you want to go a more vintagey thing like Jimi Hendrix is obviously there. Then you have the 90s stuff with the Smashing Pumpkins. I mean, fuzz pedals aren't a one-size-fit-all thing, and I'd love to hear what you guys have adopted and what you like. And maybe if you've had this and it didn't work for you, let me know. I'd love to know what your thoughts are of where you think this is lacking, and maybe there's something that you like better. I'd love to know either way. So again, let me know in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Take care.